you're coming from the United States like I did, it's an exhausting trip. It's probably 15 hours minimum in the airplane and like 2 days of actual traveling time. I left from Phoenix. I flew to LA, from LA to South Korea to Manila, Manila to Dumaguete. And with the layovers, it's 2 days, plus you're flying into the future, 15 hours into the future. I don't know what that does to you, but by the time I got to Dumaguete, I was exhausted and pretty much in a daze. And then, I meet up with my long distance relationship, Ellie, and so that's exhausting too. So I think it pretty much took me a week to get back to normal. So after the flight time and arriving in Dumaguete, the first thing when you get off the plane, the first thing I notice, man, is the humidity. My gosh, the temperature and especially the humidity. The air is just heavy and so humid. Just like any other tropical place. But I pretty much expected that, and you get used to it pretty soon, especially if you're outside and you're if you're by water. That's the easiest way to deal with the humidity, is being by the poolside or the ocean. But after that, I leave, flag down a tricycle. My first impression is the sounds. The sounds of all the tricycles and scooters and jeepneys, the hustle and bustle of the city, because the airport here is virtually in town. So as soon as you get, out of the airport, you're right on the city streets, and it's very crowded and busy. And so the sounds and then the craziness of the traffic, the driving is wild. So I went straight from the airport to the hotel where I met up with Ellie, and so we spent a couple days in the motel, and then decided to jump on a ferry and go to Siquijor for a week. And so that was my first experience with dealing with the Filipino inefficiencies. It was quite an ordeal just to get onto that ferry. These ferries are called ro-ros, I guess, roll on, roll off. So you can take your whatever vehicle, your scooter, your car, truck, etc., across with you. First thing that was surprising to me is that where you ride, and at least the one that we were on, there's several of these ferry lines, but it's full of bunk beds. It's just, you lay down the whole trip. We paid for the air-conditioned area. The ferry that we took was not the one that we wanted to. We wanted to take what's called the fast cat, because it gets you there faster. But it wasn't operating because of the whole coronavirus thing. Anyways, we make it to Siquijor, stayed in a nice little resort called Aloha, which is right across the street from the beach, and rented a scooter, and we spent a week there and didn't do much other than going to different restaurants, although one day we did take the scooter out and drove around the entire island. Had no idea how long it would take, but it only took about 3 hours to get around the whole island. So after spending that week in Siquijor, we got back on the ferry and made it back to Dumaguete, and I had already booked an apartment here in Valencia at a place called Marpaz, and we paid too much for the place, but it's an okay place to get our bearings and decide what we wanted to do from there. I had decided earlier that I wanted to check out Valencia, mainly because of the vloggers that I had listened to before coming to the Philippines, and I wanted to find a little cooler place, which it is, and quieter, which it is. And so from the Marpaz Hotel, we looked around and we found another apartment place kind of on the opposite side of Valencia called Dolce Vida. So from Dolce Vida, we spent 3 months there. We found this beautiful house that we're in now in the barangay called Epilogue. And it's kind of on the opposite side again of Valencia. But we're only 2 miles, maybe 2 kilometers from Central Park in Valencia. And it's a spectacular place. I love it. It's, you know, we have a view of Dumaguete City out to the ocean from here, and right next to the cliff that goes down to the river. It's very beautiful. But all to say that I've been here now for 5 months, lived in 3 different places already, hope to stay here for a while longer. I have to say that after being here for 5 months, I need to tell you some of my first impressions, because otherwise I'll start forgetting what I thought about things, because everything's becoming normalized for me. You know, this is, even though we're not in Kansas anymore, it all is starting to seem pretty normal to me here. You know, from even riding my scooter every day, you know, it seems like riding at 30 miles an hour here is fast, you know, and that would be slow in the States, you know. And the crazy driving, the drivers do things here that you would never see in the States. But, you know, now it's all becoming just normal. The people here, you know, they're not as friendly as what I expected. You know, not that they're not friendly, they are, no doubt, more friendly than people in the U.S. But I guess I had heard so much about the friendliness of the people from the vloggers here, maybe I expected more. I don't know. The other thing was the language. It seems to me that 80% of the people here understand some English, but they're not conversant. You know, you can't really carry on a conversation with them. You can get the message across, but probably, in my guess, 20% of the people maybe you can actually carry on a conversation with. For some reason, I thought that there would be more fluent English speakers here, but you know, this being an Asian country, I guess that is pretty darn good. I don't think in Vietnam, Thailand, Cambodia, Singapore, well, maybe in Singapore, I don't know. There's less English speakers there. As far as the attitudes of people here, they're pretty mellow, laid-back people. You know, they're hard workers, no doubt, and but you know, they move at their own pace, but they're easygoing. Talk about easygoing. I already made this vlog and then lost it all on my computer, so I'm having to redo this. So this is an exercise in taking it easy. While I was making that other vlog, there was this fly that kept flying into my eye, and that reminded me to mention the bugs here. I thought there was going to be a lot more bugs, being in the tropics, a bunch of crazy big bugs, you know, big scary spiders and stuff, but I don't see that at all. Dang, there's less bugs here, it seems like, than in California. Ants, there's a bunch of ants running around, but no big spiders. The only, you know, there's the little gecko lizard that, you know, they're in the house and out of the house. And then there's this one lizard, I don't know what you call it, but it's much bigger, you know, maybe 8-9 inches long, and it's colorful, and it's got big buggy eyes, and in the evening it starts to go, "Huckoo, huckoo, hoo, hoo," and it's pretty loud. And but they don't do that very long now. There are quite a variety of birds here, very beautiful small birds, red and black and yellow and black, and um, yeah, I've probably seen maybe 10 different types of birds here. And then there's the cicada-like bugs that are up in the trees, and sometimes they all go off for 10 or 20 minutes, and they're very loud. And I think they're here all year round. I don't think they're seasonal like they were in the States. Oh my gosh, the vegetation, the plants, the flowers here are pretty incredible. I mean, this house that we're at, the landscaping is beautiful. There's all sorts of plants growing all over. But we planted a small little garden when we were at Dolce Vita, and in particular we grew these green beans, long string green beans, and oh my gosh, they grew so incredibly fast and produced the bean pods so fast that you could harvest them like once a week. There would be a new crop. You cut them down and come back a week later and you've got a whole new crop. And I think they did this 3 or 4 weeks in a row. I've never seen anything grow like that before. The soil here looks awesome. It looks so fertile. It's dark, black, beautiful soil, but I'm told it's really not that fertile. That you need fertilizer here, and I guess it's because it's all volcanic, but then it rains so much that it's all the nutrients are washed out of it. Oh, I wanted to mention something about the cost of living here. There's a lot of vloggers who talk about that, but I'll just be real brief. In my opinion, I wouldn't want to be here with less of an income than, say, $1,200 a month. You could survive certainly on less than that, but I wouldn't be comfortable. Having $2,000 a month, you can be quite comfortable on that, and then gosh, if you had 3,000 plus, you'd be very comfortable living here. Oh, another thing is the noise pollution, as a friend of mine calls it, which is a pretty good description. Things are noisy here. There are chickens and roosters everywhere, dogs everywhere, karaoke everywhere, and the loud motorcycles and scooters. So if you can't handle the noise, then you better search out a quiet place. And I've been lucky so far, and all the places that I've been, the 3 places I've lived in this 5 months, have been quiet. And here where we're at now, it's very peaceful right now, although there is a karaoke outfit down the road from here, and sometimes, man, they've got it cranking. And but we're far enough away that it really doesn't bother you. If you go inside the house, it's fine. But if you're outside, you've got to listen to it. And then there's a sawmill also. So there's the chainsaws. I guess the sawmills here, the guys all use chainsaws to cut the wood. It's pretty amazing. But they don't go on that long, so it's not a real problem. And then there's the weather, right? Besides being humid, of course, we're in the rainy season right now. I guess this is the Philippines winter right now. And so it rains just about every day, but it doesn't last that long usually. And I was thinking, well, gee, it rains in the morning and stops in the afternoon, or it's clear in the morning and only rains in the afternoon a bit. But no, I don't see a rhyme or reason to it right now. And the thing about the rain is, it's never a cold rain. You can wear your little poncho and be out in the rain and still be comfortable. I guess I haven't experienced a real real heavy downpour yet, and I'm sure I will. But the rain doesn't really stop me from planning anything. You know, if it's obvious it's going to pour down, then I guess you have to change your plans. But you know, especially, you know, if you're only riding a scooter, you don't have a car like I don't. You have to take that into consideration. Just thought of another thing: internet. Sure, they've got internet here, and in fact, we have a fiber line run out to the house here, and I was thrilled about that. But you know, it goes out at least twice a day, every day too. So it's just not reliable. And I have kind of a backup with the pocket Wi-Fi. So when my fiber line goes out, then I can switch over to it, and most of the time it will run when the fiber's out, but sometimes they're both out. So just the way it is. It's kind of like the ATM machines here. They're hit and miss too. Sometimes they're working, sometimes they're not. You never know. Okay, I hope I didn't ramble on and mumble too much, but thanks for watching, and I'll see you next video.